So, so now the whole point is basically trying to find the henchmen by just exploring the area, find stuff on the
Okay.
map. So here's something.
I mean, just look for the
News from
nearest
the
warehouse.
peacekeepers, Agent.
Look for the nearest suspicious person. Like if there's
Yeah.
a if there's a what if there's somebody just hanging around, there's like, what are they up to?
Olga, meet Romanova.
Meet
Yep. Well, time to beat the meat.
the consider we're talking about a fat dominatrix here. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Olga Meet Romanova. Experimental steroids have reshaped this former athletic prodigy, transforming a delightful beauty into a vile beast. Romanova and her loyal puppies operate the quarry on the east coast of the den's southern island. From here, they direct the distribution of the Volk's near-endless supply of explosives to the workers in the den. Be advised, Agent, they are skilled in and excited by the use of their wares.
So yes, this is our explosives people. So taking these out means that they don't have as much to
There's
work with.
clearly a strong
Yeah,
gang
okay.
presence here, Agent, so stay alert as you take care of business.
And as you can see here, we have a third chance of beating her. Hooray! Or may the odds forever be in your favor.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah. Totally intentional.
Yeah. Actually,
yeah,
now,
this
now that I think of that, how did, in the age of everything getting video games, how did Hunger Games not get franchise video games?
It's a very good question, I suppose. I think it could be something where like if there isn't like a viable license for it, then maybe they don't bother. Like I'm trying to think like it's not as if like, like books always get licenses for games anyway. You know, it's just a more so I think I don't know, maybe off the back of the movies, maybe it's just seen as that was kind of enough.
Was there, I suppose, was that kind of the end of the, oh, film was made, let's make a game of the film. Like
Yeah.
that isn't exactly a model anymore.
Hmm.
I suppose it was like I think Harry Potter, I assume, got up as far as the last film turned into
Yeah.
game. But I can't remember what other films got that same treatment.
Well, that's what I'm trying to think like because like even I'm thinking
Oh,
about
sorry. The Room.
the room, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
At least you forget. But like when you think about it, like didn't the Hunger Games like it technically have a video game to itself, but did have a genre to itself? Like would you count that? Like the battle royales and stuff like that? That was kind of very Hunger Games oriented, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that like seems absolutely perfect for the licensing of
Yeah.
you are whatever their names were. Eddard and Priya, I don't know.
Sure. No, I'm willing to try new things out too.
Yeah, but like they could have absolutely franchised that as a thing. But it's, oh fucking hell!
Yep. Like I said, this game is relentless.
Yeah, it just keeps existing.
Yes. Despite everyone's ass not to.
Oh no, it does seem manic.
But again, it's all in a weird way. It's a very organic sandbox game because like half this, it's all just independently programmed. Like there's a respawn here, there's a respawn there. So if you don't know where to, if you're basically like falling from respawn to respawn, this is gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like it's the same way if like you if in like Grand Theft Auto 3, if you're like caught in the shit end of fucking St. Mark's, you're gonna get like literally like torn to shreds by the mafia. You know. It's like it's kind of the same kind of problem in a sense.
Yeah. Again, that was a great game.
Yeah. It's the same. Some of the developers that were on Grand Theft Auto 3 had worked on this game as well.
Oh, okay.
Your ineptitude is
So they have
No,
similar.
not gonna sit and constantly crap all over it. But okay, so but no, I haven't heard of anything on GTA 6 in like a year, I think at this stage. There was the leak put out where there was an early build
Yes.
playable. I think that's the last I heard on GTA 6.
It's been kind of leaking in drips and drabs online. And that same kind of build. People have been kind of like finding more and more with it. So like it's the same. I think it's still the same one. Just people have been kind of data mining it and finding more about it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like as I said, there hasn't been any kind of actual official white smoke to say yeah or nay about it. Like they know it's in development and everyone else knows it's in development, but like I mean
They
Rockstar is
can.
gonna fucking take its time with it now, so you know.
So, what did Rockstar have to say about like how did this leak happen?
I don't know. I can't recall actually. I think it had something to do with like, maybe a beta tester going rogue, I think. And now I think they've been sued for whatever damages is needed for all the kind of like,
Yeah,
legal requirements and NDAs and all that sort of shit.
yeah,
So
that would I'd absolutely assume that would have to happen.
yeah,
Nice.
that'd be my assessment too, anyway. But no, to my knowledge, I think that's been that's already been dealt with, and probably was a hacker from like an 18-year-old lad from like England, I think it was, who found it. Um,
So wait, sorry, was it a hacker or was it someone going rogue?
just I even trying to think of it now. I think it was actually someone who hacked in. They hacked uh, into Rockstar's kind of as it were secret vault and found it. That is my understanding of it, anyway.
Um, but yeah, they essentially got their hands on what was the state of Florida, where there
Yeah.
was like swamps, there was a Vice City, and there was other bits and pieces around there.
Hmm.
But again, like I'm trying to remember what all was seen out of that. I'm not surprised that there'd be a multi-character thing. They did the multi-character thing already with a GTA 5.
Yeah. Um, the only difference here now is that it's basically a Bonnie and Clyde setup that they're doing. That would be the only difference. So it would mean that we have our first female protagonist of the Grand Theft Auto series, which I'm no doubt is going to go down superbly well, and nobody's going to think about negatively of it.
I mean, I'm trying to think of any other instance where introducing a female character went poorly.
And everything has been fine. It has never had any problems at all. I think you should just stop asking questions, to be honest.
Like as far as I remember, the last big controversy was over Coco Bandicoot.
Yeah, to be fair. To be fair, like I think everyone like it's just gonna annoy everybody. Like something is gonna annoy somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although I can't really imagine a game like Rockstar being like, I can't imagine there being like a big call for a big demand for representation in a franchise like Grand Theft Auto.
This is always what I find fascinating about Rockstar in a sense. We're like they, especially with we were talking about 4 earlier on, and they took this kind of sudden like turn into kind of like, I wouldn't say realism, but certainly a different type of social commentary. You know, where the commentary wasn't necessarily big in with the
commentary used to be about the equivalent of South Park.
Yeah, essentially, and that's fine. That's kind of what GTA's level was, and I think perhaps it's also why people have kind of a similar. They have that similar kind of like appreciation for the PS2 era GTA, let's say, because it is on par with South Park. And then it's starting to take a bit more of a turn of where like, oh no, let's try and like have a more emotionally relatable protagonist with, you know, relatable backstory and, you know, sympathetic causes and all this sort of stuff. And
I mean,
what I appreciate,
are you saying the child smuggler Nico was sympathetic?
He was written as a sympathetic character, yeah. I think he was, because he said there's like various times in dialogue where he says he never really liked his line of work. It's that had to do it, and he was good at it. You know, like the whole game is about trying to chase the American dream and trying to live a normal life. And then when Nico does arrive to America and realizes that his cousin's a fucking charlatan that doesn't actually have a normal life at all, he just has a really shoddy taxi service.
Yep.
Like that's the social commentary, and that like the whole American dream thing is kind of bullshit. You know, which is appropriate for like a Scottish studio to be saying this about America. It's one and only source of income essentially when it comes to video games. You know,
Well, that there as well was that came out just prior to the financial crash. Like it came out, it preceded the financial crash by a few months, if I remember right.
It wasn't too far away, to be honest with you. Yeah.
The fact that it was in development for some time.
2008, yeah. 2008. Yeah.
The fact it was in development for some time, like in some ways they saw bubbles about to burst, and people are going to, or maybe they're like, right, holy shit, people resonated with that story.
I don't know. I don't know if that was a kind of a coincidence. I think certainly I think was certainly with Grand Theft Auto 5, a lot of the teasers and trailers had a lot to do with the rich versus poor thing. Because I remember they were really latching on to the whole like, okay, we're in Los Santos, here's where all the rich and beautiful people live, but also here's the homeless. Yeah. And they were really leeching into that kind of part of it. And then that kind of part of the whole game never really occurred. As you count like Trevor like living in a trailer or Michael living in a condo as part of the commentary. But even then, that's not commentary in its own way. That's just their backstory. It's nothing to do with the game in a sense.
No. I'm even trying to remember some bits of it. Like, I don't know. I had gotten through GTA 5 and I can remember not. So, like, what I'm trying to say. GTA 3 had a good rags to riches story. You saw the CJ and going through the stages of going into the gang enterprises to rise through ranks.
Yeah, that's proper rags to riches. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the three characters. There was Michael, there was Trevor, and there was Franklin.
Franklin, yeah.
Didn't like Franklin.
Franklin was kind of like your the way I was kind of saying. I always read this game was that like they couldn't really settle on a protagonist for the game outright. They felt it was probably the game itself, the map was too big, so they had to pick multiple protagonists essentially to make it work. You know, so and then when they started kind of like creating like players or people to suit what was essentially modern day Los Santos, they went, okay, we need a.
I like how you never flip the car button.
Very fucking necessary in this game. Very necessary. But like, so you need like your kind of generic anarchic sandbox protagonist, and that's Trevor. And I always kind of associate him as a stand-in for Claude from GTA 3.
He's a stand-in for how the player base actually plays the games.
Yeah, he's a player animal. That's only fair.
He is an animal. He is not really connected into the world.
No.
The other guy, the aging gangster, a ton of percent right in.
I was literally about to say it is like Michael is will probably at some stage in his life started off as middle-aged Tommy Vercetti, but and Franklin would have started off as middle-aged CJ Carl Johnson, but I think at some stage in development the writers probably figured, well, it's a different continuity because Liberty City and Los Angeles are different places and that, but like broadly speaking, are we expecting Vercetti and CJ to make it to 2014? Probably not.
Fair enough.
You know,
actually, I wonder how the game would have been received if it was a proper sequel to the three of them.
Do you know what? Like, in the current climate of the way kind of like the marvelization of certain franchises and how like we were all in a massive nostalgia buzz and we're all in this kind of like, you know, what's the word? Incentivized fan fiction type of world where like let's bring this character back into Star Wars and let's bring this guy back into Marvel and fucking Disney, you know, we're on this kind of buzz now, and that's going to probably stay for until basically like we decide we want original characters again. If they were to do that now, we probably are, but
I think in some ways, the last few years, there's Marvel fatigue has definitely set in, or at least in my bubble of the internet, it is.
No. I think you'd be right there. I think it's definitely in its trough phase as opposed to peak. But it's the same thing as anything else. But it's still the actual consumerism, let's say, is like we want nostalgia, we want buzz, we want this good thing that I remember,
Yeah,
and I want these good people that I want to come back. That's what we want. So like if there was a GTA 6 in this kind of 10-year fucking like trough that we are having now, and it was literally, oh, here's Claude back. Here's the three protagonists of the PS2 era all back for a jolly romp around a new city, essentially. And again, they're all three different individual stories, but they will eventually combine. That is essentially GTA 5 when you think about it. You know, it's just that if they needed to make them the original character because, well, let's face it, if there was the three characters there, it wouldn't really work. You know, it would be like, you know, you'd have Vercetti cokehead fucking shooting the gangster apart, and the gangster having a fucking pop at Claude, and Claude just says nothing, and hilarity ensues. At least with GTA 5, they tried to actually write a some incredible backstory, incredible origins, and stuff like that. But as
so why would Franklin have ever spared Trevor?
Well, I wouldn't. Because like I know from like playing the game, I found Trevor to be the most unlikable character in a long time in GTA. Like it was essentially Rockstar. It was Rockstar calling us out for our shit, and it was like, you're the one that facilitated this. Like you can't give out about like your company going through the shitter about like how like fucking news reports are going like, oh my god, in this game you can kill a prostitute and steal her money back. It's like you can't take the moral high ground now when you literally give us a character that is just us. You know, fuck off.
The pearl clutching that series has had is insane.
Like, yeah, and so I feel, and again, the developers are getting older. They're now more they're now dads. They're doing something different, and I do understand that. I do respect that, but at the same time, you know, give people some fucking content as well. And
I mean, they tried. They give the original GTA trilogy, they gave the PS2 trilogy rework, and it fell flat in its face.
Well, that was because they left it to an AI and fucked it up completely.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not denying that at all. But I think there was a damned if you do, damned if you don't with that. Like the three games are so very different from each other. Like they were all cartoony, they were all silly. But GTA 3 was grimy, it was grey, it was dark, it was grungy. Vice City was campy and colourful and fluorescent.
Yeah.
And San Andreas had ran the gambit as well. One big problem was the engine ran everything looking the exact same way.
Yeah, it was the kind of weird liquidy kind of feel to it, but that's because it was rendering so much. Oh, fuck.
Well, okay, maybe try something else.
They weren't joking when they said they really liked their explosions. But yeah, I think you could attribute like the San Andreas stuff was like, okay, they're making a much bigger map and putting in a lot more other gameplay, so sacrifices are going to have to be made in that department. But like as I said, like the would have trade off as well with the fun, if you want to call it the fun era of Grand Theft Auto, is that they were also like set in time as well. Like GTA 3, I know it's meant to be current time, but for us now that is like 2001.
Yep.
You know, it is like turn of the millennium, like everything's a little bit drab and dreary. Pre 9/11 as well.
So wait a second. Are we as far now from GTA 3 as we were from Vice City whenever it first came out? But 18 or so years, I think, was what Vice City was from originally coming out. 87, and it came out in 2001 or so.
Well, yeah. So it was like so GTA 3 was 2001. So like that's what 22 years.
Yeah.
And And as I said, like if you're counting that as like kind of your retro kind of like time gap, then I suppose like what like GTA was a year after, and that's set in like 1986, is it? 85?
Yeah, 86 to 88. I can't remember which.
Okay, so that's your cutoff then. The 26 years is your cutoff. It's like literally like cars. Like once it's 25 years old, it's vintage.
Okay, so
we're not old yet, James. It's okay. It's fine.
we're getting pretty close.
Getting pretty close, but it's the same as anything else. Like it's like but like there's a certain aesthetic with the 80s and 90s that like that certain people it resonates with because it seems like a far gone time. A game actually I'll throw it here as well because it could come out on the wheel is Driver Parallel Lines, and the selling point of that game is that half the game is set in 1976 and the rest of the game is set in 2006.
Sorry, is this the Driver franchise?
Driver franchise, yeah.
Okay, I thought Drive 3R was the last one of them.
No, Driver has actually had a bit of a renaissance, thankfully. It hasn't done much, to be fair, but the last game in the series is now no longer Drive 3R, so we're okay. The Parallel Lines followed Drive 3R and had quite a good concept in that you play in the 1976, 78, I think. And then your character goes to prison, and the second half of the game is set when he's out of prison in the 2000s, and he's a complete fish out of water, and everything's all different.
Okay.
But again, like the premise and the concept really, really works when it's set in the 70s because it's the aesthetic, it's the vibe, it's the music, it's everything else around it.
Okay.
Because, like I said, like a decade is an aesthetic now, in a sense.
Yeah.
Especially for us, like who weren't born around this time, so it's almost like a little window into into how other people see 70s and 80s. Like it isn't historically accurate, of course not. We're not saying that, but it's how people
just wait for it whenever the 90s and 2000s start getting like one color associated with them.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what it is, though, because like the 70s, especially in the game, has a kind of a sepia tone to it.
Yeah,
and all has kind of like an overexposure type of thing.
Yeah, 60s absolutely has that nearly bloom effect on it.
Yes, absolutely.
40s is sepia tone. No, I completely get you. But I also think the last 20 odd years have been so bland that I don't know how. Like, I think I was talking about this with Burkbot the other day of like. What iconic music has actually come out in the last 20 years?
I think weird enough, because now we're the adults, we can't really talk because like what were adults doing in the 80s? Apart from like getting divorced.
No, sorry. This is absolutely how I would have played Grand Theft Auto. Lob grenades in and then go in and knock up whatever's left.
Well, in fairness, I'm literally just trying to play these fuckers at the wrong game.
No, it's Blitzkrieg, which the Russians know well.
Well, I mean, I think Blitzkrieg might be revised in terms of the language, but you know what I mean, though.
But no, it is go in, suppressing fire, throw your grenades, then go in and mop up whatever's left.
Exactly, yeah.
And nothing mops up better than more grenades.
Yeah, really, like grenades are really effective cleaners as it turns out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I would say on that kind of a point of aesthetic, I think it's also that like there's just so many like things happening that like we're not in I know like we're not in like certain levels of culture and so forth, so we don't like quite I don't know what's hip anymore. I don't know what's interesting. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not having my data stolen by the Chinese. I don't know anything about anything. Like if I was to consider what the 20s are. Like, it's a fucking depressing time because, like, we're acutely aware that the planet is dying. There's wars happening everywhere. It's a lot of great injustices and, like, kind of democracy's kind of falling apart at its knees. Not much social commentary you can do on that. That's going to be really fucking cheap and cheerful for the video game. Kind of like...
Well, that can make for some great music. I remember when George Bush was in the White House, Rise Against and different political punk bands were... up and they were all over the shop. I can't remember what any good music coming about from the Trump years.
Gorillaz, actually.
Oh, very true.
Gorillas, because their album Humans was literally a fuck you to Donald Trump.
Oh,
But
I
Damon Albarn,
hadn't considered them.
yeah, exclusively collaborated with black artists, and
Hmm.
the back inquiry he had was all black because
Wait, was that? No, wait. Was that not like 2014, 2015 that the Gorillaz collab with all those black artists was?
no, it was more recent than that, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Only I remember that being back in bed. I can remember that being in the bedbug place, but I thought I'd moved out of there before. I don't know.
2017, James. 2017.
Damn it! What?
Yeah.
God damn it!